And we're back. Mike Cernovich, Danger and Play Guerrilla Mindset, coming at you from Paris, France, with ten politically incorrect truths that I've learned while traveling. So I've traveled quite a bit for the past, I don't know, year, 13, 14 months. I've been all over. I've been in Western Europe, Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. I've lived in Vietnam, and I picked up a few things, made a few observations. So what are 10 observations that I can make that'll rustle some jimmies? I got them, and these will rustle a few jimmies because they're not the conventional sort of conservative position all the time. One is the look. The look. You would see this especially in Vietnam and Thailand. There's some middle-aged man or older walking down a sidewalk, and some short-haired, nagging fucking harpy is dragging him around and screaming and just being unpleasant. And you think, what a horrible life that guy has. And he just goes. He sees all these beautiful girls. This is very poor countries. They'd be more than happy to be with them. But he's with this harpy, wasted his whole life, and you just get used to it. Just a look. You see right there, that is a beaten man who has wasted his whole life. He lived a lie, lived that American dream, and the first few times you see it, it is fucking sad, man, because it's like staring at a zombie. But that's life. You don't have to live that life. That doesn't have to be you. You can live a different life. 2 is, sex slavery is not that common. Boy, I was one of those people who believed the whole world, they're just vans running around, picking up women, throwing them into rape camps. And although sex slavery happens, you know what else happens? Human bondage and slavery. Who builds all those towers in Dubai? Slaves. Indian men are told, hey, come here, work. And next thing you know, they're living essentially in Holocaust-like conditions, concentration camps, forced labor camps, and they're worked to death. You never hear about that, dude. You always hear about sex slavery, and women are just stolen from everywhere, and every girl you can see in Southeast Asia is a sex slave. And if you go with one of them, you're a rapist. It's just not true, guys. There's all these men, my age, older, younger, and they go to Thailand and they have girlfriends, and the girlfriends aren't being dropped off by pimps. They're not being picked up by pimps. They're doing their own thing, and for being slaves, they sure are awfully disobedient. You'll hear a lot of sorry stories about men who they fell in love with a Thai woman, and in Thailand, I don't know if it's still the case, but you can't own property, so the common little scheme is, oh, daddy, I love you so much. Let's live together. Buy a house. Oh, but you can't put it in your name, put it in my name. Bye-bye. So the idea that all these women everywhere are sex slaves is just absolutely fraud. It's a total fucking lie. Absolutely not true. If anything, it's men who are exploited by these women. You can think it's not true, but that's the reality. Talk to anyone who's been there and done that. Now, again, does that mean there's no such thing as sex slavery? Of course not. That's retarded. But I bet you way more men are in human bondage, building buildings and in Dubai, doing all that stuff, than there are sex slaves. Probably by 10 to 1. There's probably 10 men enslaved to every one woman enslaved. So, but yeah, if you think all those Thai girls, those Vietnamese girls, those Cambodian girls, they're tied to beds. No, it happens, but not common. Very uncommon. They're living normal lives. They're living better lives than a lot of people. Now, 3 is ethno-nationalism. Boy, you might not care about nationalism, and I never used to, but nationalism cares about you. Asian people are not Asian people. Southeast Asian people are not Southeast Asian people. Thai people are Thai people, and they are better than the Cambodians, and they are better than Vietnamese. Vietnamese people are not Asian, they're Vietnamese, and they are better than Cambodians, and they are better than the Thai. Cambodians are not Asian or Southeast Asian. They're Cambodian. Are you getting the picture? So in America, like everybody else, well, you can't believe in nationalism because nationalism is Hitler, and everybody who's nationalist wants to, gash Jews and put them in ovens and everything. We're the only people who think that nationalism doesn't exist, and more specifically, ethno-nationalism. And they're learning in Sweden. Hey, let's let all these Muslim migrants in. Oh, wait, you're raping people. Wait. Why are you raping people? Because you're not their people. They don't care about you. They don't give a fuck. You think that if you let immigrants in, that suddenly they become part of your people? That isn't how it works. As ethno-nationalism, you are not their people, so the way they can treat you is morally different than the way they could treat their own people. So they can go in, Muslim can go in Sweden, rape a Swedish girl. Well, she's a white Swedish girl. That's not their people. So you might not care about nationalism. You might not care about ethno-nationalism. Oh boy, but it cares about you. And things are going to get fucking bad. And if there's one thing that I'm concerned with, it is the rise of ethno-nationalism worldwide. Things are going to get fucking messy. They already kind of are, but on a smaller scale. A couple Marines recently were on a train in Amsterdam. They took a train from Paris to Amsterdam. Muslim was about to shoot fire with an AK-47. He was stopped. There was that bombing in Bangkok, which I think was done by a Muslim. Anywhere Muslims go, they're blowing things up. You might not care about it, especially if you're in America or London. You might be a good little boy who thinks nationalism is evil. They care about it. So maybe you should start caring about it too. Next one is gender. This kind of relates to the look, but most men in the West have never been around a feminine woman. It's very hard to, there are some in the U.S., but they're very rare. And as a man, you tend to have to be kind of the highest of the food chain to even get a feminine woman. So it used to be if you're an average man, most women were feminine. So you would be around typical women who are feminine. But in America, unless you're pretty, hyper masculine, you've probably never been with a feminine woman. Very, very hard to explain. But when you've been there and you're like, whoa, this is different. It's like the red pill versus the blue pill in the Matrix, right? You're like, oh, this is what a feminine looks like. There's a certain nurturing. There's a certain compassion. There's a certain genuine concern that they express. And there's also a desire to contribute, which is completely, 9 out of 10 girls in the U.S. you're going to meet are not going to have it. So if you've never been to Eastern Europe or to Southeast Asia, you have probably never encountered a feminine woman. And that is very sad. That's why you should definitely not get into a serious relationship with a woman, let alone commit to one, until you've traveled and you've really experienced femininity, because it is quite nice. The next one is 6. Many ways to live life. Guys, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a job, and then I'm going to get a woman, and I'm going to get married, I'm going to have kids, and then, oh, fuck, I'm divorced, my life is over. There are so many ways to live life. What the audiobook guy for Gorilla Mindset I did, I was like, how do I find a recording studio? I was in Saigon. Well, a friend of mine I met through the internet, lived in Saigon, and was a danger and play reader, put me in touch with a guy. He had traveled the world, played in a band, had the time of his life, and now he lives in Ho Chi Minh City, and he runs a recording studio, and he's 46, and he just had his first kid, and he's got a Vietnamese wife. And he just had the time of his life, and then he decided, he was 43, 44, he was going to have a child then, and now he's got a kid, and he's happy, he doesn't have any regrets. He's not like, oh, what I give up. It's kind of like I'm 38 right now. If I have a kid, I'm not ever going to be that guy who's like, oh, God, what if I'd have fucked more girls? What if I'd have done this? What if I'd have traveled more? If anything, I'm like, well, maybe a kid would be nice. But, people ask me if I want to have kids. The answer is, well, I'm not real sure right now. But if I had one, I would never think, oh, God, what if? There are many ways to live your life. I've met so many people living such cool lives that you couldn't even imagine. Alternative lives, alternative lifestyles, different girlfriends in different countries. In a way, I guess I live an alternative life. I travel with my girl, but we travel the world. We kind of do our thing, do what we want to do without a home. I live in Airbnbs. It's a different way. There's a lot of ways to live your life. Don't think you have to go to college and settle down and get that good job. What that is actually going to lead to is divorce and misery. Because that's the new American dream. Getting divorced, being a single father or paying alimony and not getting to see your kids. The next one is 7. Okay, yeah. This is like money. You realize what a social construct money is, and it's so weird. So when you travel so much, you're always at ATMs and getting paper money, and then you look in the currency converter and how much do things cost. And after you do that for a while, paper money doesn't have that, I don't know, primal effect. So I used to, if I saw a stack of $100 bills, it was like, yeah, it would turn me on in a way. It would make me feel powerful or good. And I remember when I saw these drug cartel pictures and there was all this money stacked up, and I thought, wow, that's so cool, But after a while, it's just paper. It's just like dollars. And I got so out of the habit that I was going through TSA, and the guy's like, hey, you need to take something out of your pocket. I'm like, no. He's like, well, what's that big bulge? Well, I had $5,000 and hundreds in my pocket, which is dumb. Why would you walk around with that? But money had just taken on such little significance. Now, by money, I don't mean like if I woke up and I had no dollars in my account, I'd be like, oh, fuck, I better figure something out. But the paper money, it's just paper. And you become so aware of what a social construct it is. And the broader point is then you start to realize, well, why can't we have hyperinflation in the U.S.? All the dollar is a belief that it has value. And when you become, like right now I'm in euros, before I was in, I don't know, I had Romanian money, Hungarian money. What else have I had? Fucking Cambodian money, Thai bahts, Vietnamese dongs. I can't even keep track of them. And when you do that, you realize it's just all paper. Why can't we have hyperinflation in America? Why can't the dollar become worthless? There's no reason why. We're just very lucky right now that it's strong. But if you think it's always going to be that way, you're crazy. If you think nationalism and hyperinflation can't come to the U.S., travel more. You'll figure a lot of shit out. Next one is the U.S. is a police state. Oh, my God. And it's like a nanny state. I had this first weird feeling 14 months ago, and I was in Croatia. And I was like, I'm going to climb this rock, and I'm going to jump off this cliff into the water from the hotel. And I just went, and when I did, I kind of looked to make sure security couldn't see me. Well, there was no security. My hotel was right at the Adriatic Sea, so I could go from the pool to the rocks and jump into the sea. There's no fence. There's no security. There's no cops telling me you can't. There's nobody to arrest me for trespassing. But you know what? If you fall, that's on you. Responsibility. In America, we don't have that freedom. Could you imagine going to a hotel? I'm just going to jump off a cliff. You can't even open up windows in hotels, right? Can't do anything. I also had a real sort of sad epiphany when I was in Mexico partying, I don't know, 3, 4, or 5 years ago. And you can go to the pharmacy and buy whatever you want. But you come to the U.S., you can't buy anything except through a doctor, and the doctors are regulated. The U.S. really is a police state. You get followed by the police. People would say, Mike, aren't you afraid of being shaken down in Thailand or Vietnam? The answer is, well, no, the police there don't follow you around the way they do in the U.S. And if they do shake you down, it's just like a $20 or $30 fine. In the U.S., they follow you around everywhere, waiting for you to fuck up. And then there's insurance points on your driver's license. Your insurance goes up. You have to go to traffic school, or you have to pay a $300 fine. And if you try to contest the ticket, it costs more to go to court than to just pay it. So the U.S. is way more corrupt, way more of a police state than any of the countries I traveled to. Now, I'm sure some people say, well, in other countries you can get arrested for this or that, but you can in the U.S. too. You can get falsely accused of rape like that. So the U.S. is a fucking police state. The next one is drug laws are arbitrary. This goes for every country. So in Thailand, you can go buy anabolic steroids, which is great, but you can't buy really any other drugs. So you're like, well, why can't you buy steroids? In the U.S., you can't buy anabolic steroids, and they're hard to find unless you got to order them online. But street dealers have crack, cocaine, heroin, MDMA, any kind of drug that you want, very easy to get. And if you're just a small-time user, it's very unlikely you'll be arrested. But if you get caught with steroids, which is rare too, but you got to go out of your way to get them. And you're like, well, why? So I'm in Paris, and I didn't bring anything with me because Paris has very strong laws against performance-enhancing drugs. And like, well, why? Because if if steroids were so evil, they'd be causing terrible time in Thailand, right? It's like other countries have them, they're fine. What is wrong? They're just completely arbitrary. Drug laws do not make any sense. And the next one is, I guess the final one, number 10. The American dream is over. Fuck, it's over. The idea that, you're going to just go to college and get a good job and meet a good woman and have a good life. How many people are living that dream? The American dream is dead. Just get over it. Accept it. Move on. Recognize that as a man, you have a fucking target on your back. But it's not like that everywhere. There are a lot of places where masculinity is still valued. There are places, I always tell you, if you want to be one of these beta male white knights, always rescuing women. There are beautiful women who would love nothing more than to have you be their white knight. I talked to this girl in the Philippines I was in. And I was staying at this resort, was there for the UFC. And she was like a maximum quality level girl. It was gorgeous. And we were talking, like, oh yeah, so how long do you work here? She's like, oh, I work 10 and a half hour days, 5 days a week. In heels and a dress. And she was like a greeter or whatever. And I'm thinking, if I said to her, hey, I'm a beta male white knight, and I just want a woman to kind of like take care of me and I'll take care of her, what do you think she would say? Right? What do you think she would say? In a second, right? In America, if I said that to a girl, what would happen? She'd wait till she was about to be infertile, and then she would take that deal. But if she's 22, I'm going to go have my fun. I'm going to go party, right? Oh, yeah, but when I've blown through all my options, then you can be my beta male white knight. But then I'm going to cheat on you behind your back, and then I'm going to take the kids after I've lived with you for, 5 or 10 years. I'm going to get alimony and child support, right? That's America. That's the American dream. So if you want to be a beta male, why do I say whale? If you want to be a beta male, white knight pussy, there are places where you can do that. Now, you still run the risk of getting burned, and, it's not like women somehow have a better nature, but if you go to a place like the Philippines and you're a good provider, or Vietnam or Thailand, what her mom will tell her? If you fuck this up, we'll disown you. If you cheat on him, we will disown you. There is such a strong network in place to keep these girls in check, because their families are poor and they're thinking this is your opportunity. If you fuck this up, we'll be on your ass. So the odds of getting cheated on, always a chance, but a lot different. So if you're a beta male and you want to go be a white knight for girls, get the fuck out of the U.S. because you're going to have a bad time in the U.S. Even if you're sort of an alpha male, still easier elsewhere. So unless you really find that very feminine girl in the U.S., and they do exist, but in terms of ROI, like I'm in a happy relationship right now, happy committed relationship. But if things go south, I will never have another girlfriend in the U.S. ever in my life. I definitely, I'm doing fine. I'm not discontent or unhappy, but the ROI of fucking going to the U.S. and dating women to meet the 1 in 20 feminine girls out there, no, never again. I will never, ever, ever waste my time dating American women when there's this big world out there. So the American dream is dead, but your dream is alive and well. Go out and take it. Apply the gorilla mindset principles to your life to live life on your terms. Because it's a big fucking world and there's nothing stopping you anymore. Talk to you soon. Maybe I'll talk to you tomorrow.